hope disapproving. Okay, we'll use the other mic. Thank you very much. You joined at an unfortunate time, but you're welcome anyway. And blue. Here we are. Is that better? You can sit in the front. You can sit in the front, or the splash zone, like I like to call it. No, it's going to be fine. Please come in. That's in your way. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. On a Wednesday, no less, hump day. Lots of humping here. Nothing. This is going to be a comedy show. There will be silly jokes. Right off the bat, this is going to be a work in progress show. Some of these jokes will work, some of them will not. If you're not laughing, I am learning, and I die a little inside. But that's the beauty of art. You're welcome. Because it's a work in progress, I also have these sexy notes on the floor. And there will be points at the show where I will go, shit, and I will have lost my place. I will then bend over, not in the way you're thinking, and then I will have a sneaky little look. And then, in that case, I need you to pretend that I just said the funniest thing in human history. Right? Can we give this a shot? So I will lose my place. I will bend over. Thank you so much. You committed. That was a false alarm, but you committed. Thank you very much. So disclaimer at the beginning, yes, I am gay. Surprise! Thank you very much. That's a much better reaction than I got from my girlfriend at the time. Thank you very much. Quick check, I'm hopeful in Brighton, but quick check for the room. Yes, I am a gay man. Gay men were formerly known as? Good, there was a test, you passed. You passed. Happy Pride, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's always good to check. There is a second part to my personality that I decided to mine for my comedy. I know, 2 parts, he's so complex. And that is that I am German, right? I'm German, I have a German citizenship. I didn't grow up in Germany though, I grew up in Switzerland. In the little part of Switzerland where they speak German, or like the locals call it, German! Swiss people don't speak proper German though, they speak a very specific dialect of German called Swiss German. You've heard it?
Yeah.
You've heard
My
it
mom speaks Schweizerdeutsch.
Oh, my condolences.
Yeah.
Your speech and language therapy must have been years. But you will notice the Swiss German sounds very much like können Sie bitte mal das Küchenkästchen öffnen? Ja, danke vielmals. I know it sounds very much like strangling a hamster down a drainage pipe. It gets worse. If Swiss people get excited, which they rarely do, but sometimes they do, it then very sort of descends into the translation of that is just, hello, how are you? That's how Swiss people greet each other. And doing stand-up comedy in Switzerland is also quite tricky, because Swiss people usually aren't that funny, they don't have enough opinions for that. It can also be hard to find Swiss people to come to your comedy show, because Switzerland famously has a lot of nooks and crannies. For example, did we know that every single house in Switzerland has to have a darkroom, in bunker, in case there's a nuclear war? It's true, every single house has to have that because Switzerland will be neutral, but they are ready. They are ready. If you really want to find Swiss people, you sort of look for a nice house with a nice garden, because Swiss people will be sitting there right on the fence. That's where Swiss people will be. Swiss people love sitting on fence so much they usually have splinters in very ungodly places. Try and get an opinion out of a Swiss person? Impossible. Were the Nazis good or bad? I don't know. How much gold do they have? That's a little history joke for you, Dad. Usually splits the room, not because it's particularly offensive, more because of the state of the British education system. Yeah, Switzerland has no position on anything. I did not adopt this, because my favourite position is doggy style surrounded by 7 hairy men. Well, ideally, call me a good boy. But I also really sort of try to distance myself from my German heritage a little bit. I wonder why. No, I try to distance myself a little bit, and that is mainly, I tried really hard to lose my German accent in English, right? Because I think the German accent in English sounds awful, it sounds terrible, a German accent is awful, it sounds really much like I want to draft you all into the Wehrmacht! But yeah, it's still sort of lingering around a little bit, right? Just a slight twang left. It's lingering around, just like the feeling of guilt about the fact that my granddad lives in Argentina now. That's a political one for you. I've left the door open on purpose, A, to admit any latecomers, B, to confuse the heck out of the people in the lobby. When I shout German, they usually come in very concerned. It's a cult. No, but the whole craziness of me being gay in Switzerland started when I had my first time. I was 16. I know, right? He's getting vulnerable so early in the show. Oh my god. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna get through it. No, I had my first time when I was 16. I was under pressure to have my first time. Not in any sinister way. I had a school crush. And in my mind, I was inevitably going to get with this guy, right? So I wanted to practice. I wanted to practice sex because then, once I got with him, I knew what I was doing, right? So I was under pressure to do that. But the problem is I wasn't out, right? Because we still had PE in school, and I wouldn't have survived that changing room without a boner. So the only way, thanks, Mark. The only way she comes to all my gigs, she does a bladder. The only way I celebrated my sexuality was by being in very dodgy chat rooms, right? They had to be very dodgy, because in my mind, if I submitted any kind of information, even a fake email address, 2 days later, the police would come to my mum's house and go, "You lady have a gay son." Obviously that's silly, right? Because we don't have police in Switzerland. We throw money at people and ask them to be nice. It works, Adrian. But I was looking, in these chat rooms, I was sort of looking for a sugar daddy figure, and couldn't really find one, so I settled for an artificial sweetener daddy. It was great. He proposed something very nice, a really romantic date. He said, "Come on, wait at an intersection. I will drive by in an unmarked windowless van. You will get into the van. We will then drive to a remote location, get into the back of the van and do the deed." I was like, "Yes, thank you. Good little boy." But I did it, right? You can just imagine it. Not too hard. I was underage at the time. You'll get in trouble. Come in. We've joined at an unfortunate time. Just in time for the light smattering of paedophilia. Instigated by me, instigated by the minor. But we did it, right? I turned up, I got into the van, we drove to the location. On the drive, I was like, let's make some conversation, let's get some chat going. So I landed on a topic that was important to me at the time. So I was like, "So hey, are you also out?" His response, "I'm married." And that was my attempt at finding common ground. We drove the rest of the way in silence. But I'm happy to report, and that's going to summarize the story in one line for you. I lost my virginity to a married man in a cargo van. Yay! Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're the first room to cheer that, but thank you very much. Did that very elaborate attempt at getting murdered work? It did not. To this day, my school crush does not know that I exist. He has now 4 children, a semi-detached and a second-hand Volvo. He's very happy I'm friends with his wife on Facebook. We exchange recipes. How to do crystal meth. No.